So
So why don't we get the students to start? How about
Perfect.
Zoe? Do you want to start?
Yeah, so my name is Zoe Blank. I am a freshman data analytics major. Is there anything else I should say about myself?
Why'd you pick Miami?
I picked Miami because even during all the tours and all the different events, I could see from the students and from the professors how great that relationship was between faculty and students and how closely you could work one-on-one with professors and administrators, and it's lived up to the expectations so far for sure.
Wow, that's great to hear. So who wants to? So hey, Mike, you're next to her on my screen. You want to go?
Yeah, so I'm Mike Constantino. I'm a senior math education, math double major. I chose Miami because of the beautiful campus, and I love the emphasis on undergrad education. I love that almost every math class that I've taken has had 20 some students, so it's a very small class. It feels like high school. You get the chance to actually work with your professor if you want to. That was just my favorite part about all my math classes.
Awesome. How about Victoria?
So I'm a senior math and stats major with a double major in Spanish. And I had a couple older siblings who went to Miami. So as I was like growing up, I came and visited the campus, just fell in love with it. So I did come here.
Great. So Luke, you're next on the board.
I'm next in the hot seat. I'm Luke. I'm a freshman math and stats major here at Miami. And the only big, like the reason that I think everyone who went to Miami can say that there was for choosing Miami, the kind of final nail in the coffin, so to speak, although it's definitely vibrant here on campus, even with COVID restrictions, is it just felt like home. I mean, it might have been that I visited the campus like 8 different times over the past couple of years before I finally applied, but it really did feel like home. And I'm not going to bring out the Robert Frost quote because I'm sure you've heard it many times. You've seen it on the website, but there really is no such place like Miami.
Great. So thank you, Lydia.
I'm Lydia. I'm a senior stats and analytics major with a minor in computer science. When I picked Miami because first it just seemed like the best return on investment. I'm an Ohio person, so it made sense. At the time I was undecided and it seemed like Miami had a lot of good programs and a lot of different things, which was very attractive to me. And also my parents are Miami mergers. So I also grew up coming here a lot. So college just always looked like Miami to me, I guess.
Very good. I think Jake, are you last on the queue here for the students?
I think so. Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is Jake Cowan. Thank you for having me. I'm a senior math and stats major with minors in actuarial science and computer science. And the reason I originally picked Miami, as a couple of other folks have already mentioned, is that the faculty here really seem devoted to the success of their students. You can really tell that the faculty all want to see their students succeed. Most of the professors that I've had in math and stats here over the last 4 years, even if it was a couple years ago, if I see them passing by them in the hallway, they recognize me. A lot of them know me by my name. So it's just a really great culture to learn in, and it really sets students up well for success.
Great. Thank you. So Laura, why don't you jump in?
Hi, my name is Laura Anderson. I am faculty in the math department. I'm also the chief departmental advisor. I work a lot with our advisees, but also our faculty advisors and answering questions and trying to clear up things and helping students declare majors and a variety of other things.
Great. So Lisa.
Okay. Okay, I think you can hear me now. So yeah, so my name is Lisa Winsky. I am an assistant lecturer in the statistics department, and I also I did my undergraduate at Miami, and I liked it enough to decide to come back. I do a lot with our online courses, developing those, and I also work with our first year students in the transition course designed to help acclimate them to a major in math or stats and provide them with opportunities here at Miami. So welcome. I'm so excited that you're here and even thinking about Miami, and yeah, I can't wait to hear your questions.
Yeah, and Lisa, you were one of the first students to do a combined degree, weren't you? To do the
Yeah, so I
combined
was the
bachelor's
first.
and master's.
So I was the first person to do the combined bachelor and master's in statistics. And from my standpoint, I decided I would do it because if I didn't like it, I didn't waste any time. And it turned out that I loved it. And I'm still here working with statistics. And so it was a great option for students that have some AP credits coming in order to maximize your time here. So.
Perfect. Tom, you want to jump on?
Hello out there. I'm Dr. Tom Fisher. I'm a faculty member in the statistics department. And I'm here for 3 reasons. One, I am a pain in the neck of Mr. John Baylor, as he appreciates. 2, I'm the chief.
He's underestimating that impact, though.
I'm the chief departmental advisor in statistics. So similar to Laura, I do all the same sort of stuff on stat. And then 3, I actually do a lot of research work with undergraduate students. Lydia can attest to that a little bit today, and some of these other folks maybe in the future will be able to talk about it.
Right. So Patty, you want to go?
Sure. My name is Patty Dowling. I'm the chair of the Department of Mathematics. I've been here for a long time. That's what people tell me. And as I'm listening to what the students are saying, they remind me of the reason I'm at Miami. We have really good students. They're a delight to have in class. And even though I've been here a long time, I hope to be here a significantly longer time. Thank you for coming.
And I guess I'm last on the Carol. You want to introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I'm Carol Richmond, and I'm a fan of our math and stats faculty and students, but I'm actually here just in the background for admission. So thank you for joining Discover the Science. It's normally, of course, if it's not COVID, you would be on campus in their building, seeing these students and their wonderful faculty, and really realizing how Miami difference is, as the students all shared, like they know their student faculty. It's just so collaborative. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm John Baylor. I'm chair of the Department of Statistics. Dr. Dowling said he's been here a long time. I've been here a long time +1. So, and and my kids actually have parents who are Miami mergers as well. So there's a bit of a connection that goes beyond. I think that the general pattern here is to open this up for attendees to post questions in chat. Is that correct, Carol? Okay, so if we'll do 2 things. We'll open this up for you to answer for the attendees there. I see the 8 of you, and thank you for joining us again. And if you have questions, we'll raise it up and let the panel here respond. But if not, we'll let the panelists ask each other questions. So Lydia, get nervous. No, this is we always pick on the seniors first. That's part of what we do. So I saw at least a hand going up that might have a question coming. So were you fooling us there? Yeah. So Dr. Fisher, why don't you ask, oh, wait a minute. Here, attendees, feel free to call. So Dr. Fisher, why don't you ask Lydia about her experience working on a research team?
Yeah, Lydia, what's your experience about working under my supervision?
I mean, it was all great except for working with you, obviously.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
No. So I had kind of an interesting experience. I got roped into this research project when I was a sophomore, actually. Dr. Fisher sent out an announcement to all the students and said, does anybody want to work on this project? And at the time I was not particularly qualified. So I sent an email saying I'd love to in the future, but not right now. And then they basically said, well, we want you to come on anyways and shadow and learn, which is really one of the best decisions I think I made in my time here, because so I spent a year shadowing, and then I was able to do a research project the following year researching weather trends in the United States. And I got to present my findings at a conference. I submitted them to the conference, and then I got to present later for some specific, I don't know what to call them, administrators there. And I actually ended up winning first place. So it was a really great experience for me. And I can answer any other like more specific questions about that if people have them.
I'm going to answer the question that got posted real quick about the double major. The short answer is no, but a lot of students will pick up a minor. One thing that is interesting at Miami is there's Miami plan requirements, kind of general foundation requirements all students must do. Then there's requirements within the college, and the data science degree, the math science, or the math stat degree, we're all under the College of Arts and Science. So you can easily do another major in that college. When you start trying to do double majors outside the college, it can start to get tricky because of the number of classes required. So the data science degree basically has a computer science minor built into it. So a lot of students are completing that minor, but to do a computer science major would require, like a minor is this much more work, and to do the major is like this much more work because of it's in a different division or a different college. So
we can talk about the data analytics major where that is an option if you want to.
They're asking about the data science.
So
the way it
if
was
they want to hear
listed.
about that.
Let me tackle a question here about what do you recommend for bringing AP credits? Okay, this one is pretty easy. If you've got AP credit for Calculus AB with a 4 or 5, just go into Calc 2. If you've got an AP credit of 3 for Calculus AB, retake Calc 1. If you've got AP credit for Calculus BC, a 3, 4, or 5, take the credits and run. Take linear algebra, take Calc 3, just move on. I know several of the students here walked in the door with AP credit for Calc 1 and Calc 2, and they moved right on. Walking in the door with AP credits is wonderful. It frees up so much space in your schedule to try other things, whatever that might be. I'm thinking of academic things.
So would any of the students like to weigh in on that in terms of bringing what you did with AP or start where you started?
I can kind of jump in on that a little bit. I walked in with about, I believe it was 38 hours and included all the way through Calc 3. So I walked in as a freshman taking linear algebra and diff EQ, and it allowed me to easily make my double major in math and math ed attainable with taking most of the time 12 credit hours a semester, if I'm going to be honest. So definitely as much as you can walk in with always helps. And two, if there's other credits outside of math, I would recommend a Spanish credit if you can get it. That eliminates another class depending on what different colleges you want to go to, because College of Arts and Sciences requires language, but other colleges may not. So just knocking that out of the park helped a lot. And yeah, I was going to say, run away from Calc 2 if you can. I've tutored it a lot, and it's not the funnest class in the world.
Joseph, I just want to address, I noticed, Joseph, you said you were worried that you'd be behind if you skipped them. You absolutely would not. One of the great things about math, especially the way that Miami teaches math and stats here, is that a lot of the classes, I know we say, math and stats are interdisciplinary, they work with each other, all the courses kind of touch on different topics that, you see in other courses, but that really is the case. Whether it's linear algebra or Calc 3 that you start your first semester, you'll kind of get reminded a little bit of the stuff in Calc 1 and 2. So you definitely, in no respects, will be behind it. Even if you do feel a little behind your professors, other students, there's tutoring available to make your academic transition a success.
Kind of building off that, you have so much time. I can tell you, I declared my major late. I didn't take Calc 2 until the fall of my sophomore year. I am all set to graduate on time. And also I took Calc 2 with Dr. Dowling actually. And as much as I hate Calc 2, people have been talking about great faculty. He was a great professor for that class. So like there will be help, like Luke was saying, like people will support you through that class, even though it was painful for me.
There were some
No, I
questions.
think you were fine. You were fine, Lydia. You didn't need that much help at all.
So Laura, do you want to tackle that question that was raised about the some of the other majors? That's, if you follow in the chat window, there's been some discussion, but Laura, you can expand on that.
Yeah, a little bit. So the question, I gotta find it. The question was, are there any other math degrees aside from the BS in math and BS in math and stats? We do have a third option, which is a Bachelor of Arts in math. And one of the main differences is really just between the arts and the science part. So as Dr. Fisher was mentioning, with other requirements within the college, the Bachelor of Arts program, at least for us, and I think many other majors in our college, there's a set of College of Arts and Science requirements beyond foreign language that those students have to complete. So it's a little bit less math, but it's because you're building sort of a more liberal education within the college. And then, yeah, the BS math and the BS math and stats, the only college level requirement there is the foreign language. So yeah, within our department, well, I guess in our department, we have Bachelor of Arts math, Bachelor of Science math, and then we share with statistics the BS math and stat.
And then we have the other thing that I posted in the chat was that we also have the BS in data science and statistics, which has a concentration in either data science or a concentration in statistics. And then most recently, there's a Bachelor of Arts in data analytics, which has concentrations. And Lisa, do you want to mention what some of those concentrations are?
Yeah, so the Bachelor of Arts in Data Analytics is a new major, and it's really cool because it's interdisciplinary. And so there's concentrations in bioinformatics, geospatial analytics, sport analytics, and social data. And the social data concentration can have either a political science or a sociology and gerontology emphasis. And so, the question earlier about double majors, the beauty about the Bachelor of Arts in Data Analytics is that it is easy for students to pick up a double major in sociology and political science, in sport, sport leadership and management. So that's a really great option. And Zoe actually declared a major in data analytics. So I'm going to transition to Zoe because my battery is about to die, and let her talk a little bit about that major and how she sees that fitting into her overall academic plan and career goals.
Yeah, so I absolutely love the data analytics major just because of, how much you can tie other things into it. As Ms. Rowinski mentioned, there are the 4 concentrations. So the main thing I love about that is you can pick up another major either related to those concentrations, or you can pick up a completely different major because it isn't as heavy as, say, like the Bachelor of Science in math or any of those other majors. For example, I am right now considering adding a second major that's strategic communication or something along those lines. And then I also know I'll have time in my schedule once I decide on my concentration to pick up a minor or co-major or just some other classes regarding that concentration.
So we have another question here about internships. Would any of the students like to comment on internships that they've had or what they might be doing to prepare for it? And then I'll turn it over to maybe Dr. Fisher to talk about some of our majors and what they've done, or Laura as well.
I can comment on an internship that I had this past summer. So I'm studying to be an actuary after I graduate. And this past summer, I completed an actuarial internship with Western and Southern Financial Group down in Cincinnati. And I think Miami set me up really well for it. In the actuarial world specifically, there's a series of exams that you're expected to take in order to get like your professional certifications. And the classes at Miami really helped prepare me for the first slew of those. And that's typically something that's expected in order to get an internship. So in that respect, Miami really helped me towards that goal. And as far as Miami helping fit it into my schedule, it was really straightforward to figure out how to get the internship counted for my experiential learning requirement. Dr. Fisher helped me get that set up. And I know people who have had internships during the semester and they've been able to make it work with their schedule. Mine was a little more straightforward in terms of scheduling since it was like a standard summer internship. But I know, just generally speaking, Miami set me up very well for my internship. And I know that I have many friends and other students I know who have had the same type of experience.
Any other students want to comment? No?
I feel like I have to plug. I have had a summer internship, kind of like Jake had, but I feel like I have to plug CADS a
Okay,
little
thank
bit
you.
here. My CAD stands for Center for Analytics and Data Science. So aside from my summer internship, I also sort of basically intern during the semester with CADS. I'm a project intern there. So I've done work for Miami's development office about alumni data. I'm currently working on a project for Fifth Third Bank. So there's also kind of that option if you want to intern during the semester, but also a more flexible internship that works better with your school schedule. That's been really great for me.
Dr. Fisher, is there anything that you would add sort of in terms of students that you've interacted with?
I would say no. Most students do internships between their junior and senior year. Sometimes sophomore to junior year. Between freshman and sophomore year can be kind of hard because of not having enough background to do it. But I mean, there's so many. The areas that people work in, it's amazing. We had students working for the Smuckers Corporation for multiple years in a row, all the way through people working for sports equipment manufacturers. Somebody, one of our former students has a job now with Graders. I think they're working like their headquarters. I mean, there are people get jobs all over the place. Yeah, no, not scooping ice cream. So it's, the number of areas people go it's hard to pinpoint it.
Yeah, I think we would say that a math and stat degree really sets you up for just a variety of opportunities. And I think the students are reflecting some of that. Any other kind of general comments that others would like to share? Patty, are there others that you would mention?
Well, before we had COVID, there used to be something called research experiences for undergraduates. The National Science Foundation funds quite a few of these across the country. They're quite competitive, but if you get into one of those, that can be a heck of an experience. I think they've all been shut down this past summer, and I'm pretty confident there'll be none available in summer of 2021, unfortunately.
I've been looking at a couple REUs for next summer. It looks like kind of like Miami's Summer Scholar Program this past year. They've transitioned to more online formats when they can. Obviously, when you're in a lab mixing chemicals together, you can't really do that online. But luckily, math and stats is very resilient to technology change.
That's true. Yes, virtual chemistry doesn't work very well.
No, I think that the REUs are great opportunities. You'll see those. There are things also called SIBs, Summer Institutes in Biostatistics, and there are just a number of opportunities if you're interested in exploring the application of your quantitative skills. There's going to be ample opportunity. So that I think this also ties into the comment about AP hours. The more AP hours you bring to the table, the sooner you take some of the upper level courses that really help leverage, that you can leverage into these internship opportunities. So part of it is, maybe it becomes more feasible to take it after 2 years, although you're probably a junior in terms of your hours by that point. But again, it's just, that's another way that you could use your AP hours.
Another thing I think to mention too is that a lot of the times these opportunities, your professors can help guide you towards some of these things. And that's how all these students are on this panel, because one of us identified them and thought that they would be a good fit for this opportunity. And so as you get to know your professors, the students have mentioned that collaboration and that's key. And that's how you will, that's how students get to do research with Dr. Fisher. He finds them and they find him, and just as an example. And so working with your faculty, they can lead you to opportunities that you didn't know existed. And so I'm sure the students could speak to opportunities that they found at Miami that they didn't anticipate. And I think that's unique about us. So.
Well, we don't have any other questions from our attendees. Well, we don't have any showing up yet. So Patty, you do a lot of advising at summer orientation, and you help with a lot of, students getting started. What are some of what words of wisdom do you have for these high schoolers that might be coming to campus and then thinking about getting into their math and stat classes?
Well, the most common question is about AP credits, what to do with them. The truth is, if you've got the credits, take them, with the one exception of 3 on the AB calculus AB. That's the danger zone. So you want to avoid danger zone. You want to have a very successful first semester. It sets the tone for the rest of your career. So if you're placed into the right course, you feeling comfortable, don't overload, you'll do fine. I cannot stress, take the AP credits when you can. It opens doors, as we were mentioning, about research experiences. It also allows you to graduate quicker if that's what you want. It also allows you to do the combined program, a bachelor's and master's. It allows you to double major, triple major, and if you want to be crazy, quadruple major. It's possible. So those are some of the things that we deal with during the summer. Plan your schedule as much as possible. You don't have to map out 4 years, but gee, 2 would be really nice.
So there's a question has come in about integrating study abroad with mathematics. And so any of the students, would you like to comment on if you've had any study abroad experiences or if you're planning on any?
Well, I'm planning next summer to participate in, COVID permitting, of course, right? We always have to add that caveat now, in the Miami University Math in Europe program. And so what that is the math department offers about 6 credit hours of Miami University courses. They can find them in the academic bulletin. They transfer like that, right? There's no figuring out what is A and what's B and all that. And it's Miami University faculty. So it's faculty-led program where it's going to be in London and Dublin, 2 of the greatest cities in the British Isles. And, it's just like any other Miami semester, except you're in the capital of awesomeness. I don't know how else to describe it. Granted, I haven't been there yet, and I really hope I'm able to go next summer. But and there's a lot of programs like that. And you talk about integrating mathematics. I know that there's a winter program called MATLAB in Puerto Rico, and that's essentially using a mathematics-based programming software with radar and whatnot. It's mainly an engineering focused faculty-led program. It takes place in January. It's kind of nice at Miami. We don't have semester, and then the summer we have a semester winter term, which is about the month of January we have off, in addition to Christmas and whatnot, right? And then we have spring semester and summer, and we start all over again. So that MATLAB in Puerto Rico is where you're using the mathematics and the statistics. And that's why I like to call our departments the universal donors of Miami University and the world at large, because we can pretty much do anything. I mean, to succeed in Miami mathematics and statistics, you have to be able to read. You have to be able to know logic. You have to be able to follow through solve problems. And you have to be able to code. With statistics, it's those coding classes, and math, little known fact, you do have to take a coding related course as well. So Miami's math and stats departments really set you up to do whatever you want, whether it's scooping ice cream at Graders or, managing their logistics.
So Lisa or Tom, would you want to weigh in on any other students? I know that Allison did some study abroad, and she did that in like the J term. So some of our recent graduates have done this, and the point that Luke was making, that you can do study, you're not just restricted to doing it in the summer, is a great opportunity for it. So I'll turn it over to CDAs to comment on other things they might have experienced.
I see Laura has already skipped out.
The only official program we have is the one run through the math department. And there's normally 2 400 level math courses you can take, right? I can't remember what they are. Not that they need to hear the alphabet soup anyway. But the university has a study abroad office, at least again under normal times. And there are programs you can take in the J term that are about 3 weeks long. Parents tend to like those opportunities because the kid's only gone for 3 weeks and not 6 or 7. Like in the summer, occasionally we have students who might study an entire semester. And even though it's not directly affiliated with Miami, you would work with myself or Laura or other departments to take courses to transfer them. So there are, you guys were mentioning the British Isles. A few years ago, we had a student who was in Scotland taking statistics courses and transferring them back. And we pre-approved it all before they left. But you would work with the study abroad office to do those things.
Yeah, I would say I encourage, at least because I'm working with the first year students this year, but it can be done during the semester. A lot of students, I think, especially in math and stats, are gravitating towards the summer and winter term options, viewing them as supplements and not instead of a regular semester at Miami. And so that's something, and oftentimes a lot of students, besides the math program, they'll take Miami Plan classes, which are general education requirements abroad. And those are great opportunities to take a class and reference a culture and live it and see it. And so that connection is really neat. But, you know, the study abroad office is where I point students. And the good thing about college is it's your experience, it's your journey, and it can look different from somebody else. And that's the neat thing. It's more customized than high school perhaps was for some of you. So.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure how many years our department's study abroad has run. It's been at least 8.
It's
10 to 12.
It's closer to 10.
Yeah.
It's longer than that. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's run every year. Well, it didn't run this past summer. But yeah, it is 2 400 level math courses. And you can also, so like part of the Miami Plan requirements, there's is it the global one, Global Perspectives?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can use a study abroad experience for that. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have to be in math. You know, you could study abroad over a summer and still fulfill Miami Plan requirements, you know, with some other subject. As Dr. Fisher mentioned, you know, we do have students that go to other universities abroad, so it's not necessarily a Miami program. But yeah, the advice there is just make sure you get your courses pre-approved so that you know whether it's transferring back as like a specific course, whether it's math or stats or something else. Or, you know, are you okay if somehow it just comes back as a general credits towards graduation? Because that could happen too. The other thing, we didn't mention AP stats at all. So we've mentioned things about AP math, but no one said anything about stats. So if you pass the AP exam in stats, the math person's going to say it, you do get 3 credits of stat, 3 or 4 actually. Is it 4? 4, yeah, 4 credits of stat 261. So that also will count towards things for you. And then there's also another option is post-secondary credit. So if you're near a college and you want to complete courses there, you can check the transferology website to see if those courses are in fact going to transfer here like you think that they should.
So Laura, thank you for showing a little love to the stat AP thing. I had that down even better. So Tom, what do they take if they get credit for if they get the credit for AP stat, the intro stat class? What's the next? Where do you normally place them?
It would depend on their interest and their math background, but potentially our stat modeling course, which is kind of like intro stat 2. But that's something you would worry about in an advising session during orientation more than. And if Luke wants to talk about that class, I know he's in it right now. But before that, I do want to bring up, there's a question that got posted. What is the graduate school placement rate for the math department? I'm sure Patty has that number ready to answer.
Yeah, I was going to hand it off to Laura immediately. Offhand, I really don't know, but then I don't know of any student that wanted to go on and get a graduate degree that wasn't able to get into a program. So that's why I haven't been keeping records. So we've got a good track record. You get good grounding. Your basic courses, I think the basic courses are algebra and analysis, and everything builds from there. And yeah, people are, from past experiences talking to old graduates that went on to graduate school, they felt that they were really well prepared when they landed at a PhD school. We've got a good track record there. But actually for numbers, I'm sorry, I don't
I'll
have
say,
them.
I'll say the question's kind of ambiguous because I'm not sure what they mean by rate. I agree with you that if a student applies, they generally, you know, if I'm interested in going to graduate school, I will get in somewhere.
Well,
generally.
there's minimal GPA requirements.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
there,
as
of
long
course,
as, you know, yeah.
and a minimal curriculum.
Yeah,
Certainly if you've gone through our curriculum in math or stat, you're going to be fine.
yeah, as if you did well.
If you did well.
Yeah.
If you're getting by with that 2.0, you probably aren't going to make it. But
No, graduate school is not for you.
yeah, but the students who want to go to graduate school, everybody I can think of has gotten in somewhere generally. I agree with you. But I wouldn't know what the rate is on our side either.
I mean, if you were going to try to, I was just trying to think about trying to guess. If you look at people going to work, you know, think about continuing school versus going to work. I would guess probably 2/3 to 3/4 are going into the workforce after the undergraduate, and then the remainder are going on for some graduate or professional study. So that it's not necessarily, you know, you could go be a physician with an undergraduate degree in math or statistics. I mean, it's just, you know, it's as long as you have the basic pre-med curriculum. So it's not restrictive. So I would guess about say 1/3 to 1/4 go on for continuing education, and then the balance go on into the workforce.
And there are some students that graduate, they're not quite sure if they're ready for graduate school yet. They go off and get a job for a while, maybe go teach for a while, and then go back and go to get a PhD. I just had one of our former instructors just contacted me a few days ago asking for letters of recommendation because he's going to pursue a PhD.
I'll chime in and just say, so we do get data back from, so the seniors that are on the panel right now, it helps us if you fill out forms, right? When the Alumni Center sends you a form that says, what are you doing now? You know, it helps us if you actually answer those. So I think I agree with Dr. Baylor. I think within the last couple of years, about 1/3 of our students potentially would go on to a graduate program. And yet everyone else goes into the workforce.
So there was so Luke, I think you wanted to comment about 363.
Yeah, it's definitely different than any math or stat course you'll have ever had. Because the first thing you do before we even got to the start of the semester was we had to do some coding. You know, we had to install some software, run a couple lines of code, install some packages. And I think I remember either Dr. Fisher or Mr. Hughes, who both have created this course, in one of the lectures for the first day or so, said that you're going to get thrown into the deep end. All right. And you're going to have to learn to swim. And I know that sounds scary, you know, being high schoolers, you know, our job as panelists is to try to rope you into Miami, not push you away. But to be honest, that's what Miami is all about, because, you know, this is college and it's about doing the work yourself, you know, having integrity, love and honor. And it's about diving in to the challenge and coming out a better person and hopefully better qualified for the workforce and the changes that you'll bring to the world. And that's really what I think 363 embodies, because the first couple of weeks, I'll admit, are very, very difficult, especially if you haven't coded before or aren't familiar with the coding language. But boy, does it prepare you for the rest of your time at Miami, because all of Miami's statistic courses, save one, to give you that breadth, use the R programming language. And that's what the first part of 363 is teaching you that language, using that language. And we're only at week 10 of the semester. I already feel fairly intimate and proficient with coding. I feel very comfortable with it. And it does get easier as you go on. So I think in general, it's a really fun course. And if you have the opportunity to take it at Miami, you definitely should. You definitely should skip stats if you have that credit and take it, because it is a really fun course and you'll learn a lot.
Great.
So I see that you kind of answered that question about salaries. I don't think they actually care what our departments are paying. I think they meant what do students make when they leave.
No, this is from BLS.
Okay, yeah.
This
The way
is-
the question was worded, it made it sound like what's the department paying on average?
yeah, please don't ask my faculty that.
Yeah.
This is
The answer to that question is to put some words in it besides just sending you a link is it can vary greatly. A lot of different factors go into how much salary people will get. Location, location can really influence your starting salary. I know of a student who wanted to work for a nonprofit and so started with a job in the upper 40s. And then we know some of our graduate students who get master's degrees might be making 70 plus at starting positions. So it can vary. There's a pretty big broad range there. I wouldn't worry about that at this point in your career. It'll happen, but there's a lot of factors that go into where that number comes from.
and the one thing to realize is that some of the jobs that you're going to qualify for with degrees from our departments, they won't say mathematician or statistician. It might say analyst. It may say data scientist. It may say, market researcher. It's the thing to look at, and I always tell students, if you look at something like Indeed.com or other sources like that, and you look for those types of titles, look at the skills that are being presented there. Those skills are what we're trying to develop in many of our courses. And, by the way, the other thing we'll mention is we've, now that since Lisa told me I wasn't sending notes to anything but any people but the panelists, and I could send it out to you all, I've posted in a couple of the links to some sources at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and also this is statistics.org is a recent one I've posted. But then there's some information there about degrees. And so you can, and Lisa has posted something there about an Indeed.com link for this. So, I mean, there's ample opportunity. And one of the things that we try to do in both of our departments is we try to connect our students to our alums. So it was just last week that we had our alumni panel that came in and was available for, to talk to our students about what they were doing. And so there's a chance we try to encourage the connection with the previous generation of the majors that came through our two departments. All right, other questions that come up?
So John, I will say that as far as careers are concerned, there is the Career Center. I've got the wrong name, but there's a Career Center on campus. Do get involved with them very early on. Usually we have a career panel, as John was mentioning, and we invite majors to come and talk to these former graduates, learn about what they do on a day-by-day basis, what sort of skills they found useful, what they found that wasn't very useful. It's good to listen to those people very early in your career, and I do mean your freshman year. Don't be in the spring semester of your senior year trying to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life. Start early.
I think the other thing to mention too is that, college is about so much more than just your classes. There's a lot of other experiences that give you some of the soft skills that are required. And so I don't know if we want to have the students share some experiences they've had throughout their time at Miami and how they've learned some just various skills through opportunities they've had at Miami. I think that would be cool to hear if you guys are okay with that.
Well, as a member of the fencing team, I have definitely learned to work out my issues through stabbing other people. But in all seriousness,
not your faculty, please.
There are tons of different intramural club sports. You don't have to be a varsity athlete to still be physically active. Of course, there's the different gyms across campus. For instance, I know on my floor, like half of the people on my floor are a member of the running club on campus. And so every day at 4:45, they go on a run. Sometimes it's 10 miles, sometimes it's 2. It's kind of run as you go. So Miami is very inclusive and open. I think there's, I don't know if they still do it anymore, but the Crawfords, the president and his wife, who's an adjunct professor at Miami, will do brick and ivy runs with their golden retriever Ivy. And students will be able to join in and kind of run along with them in a similar way. And there are a lot of other opportunities on campus in terms of math and stats. Lydia mentioned CADS. That's a big one. There's also the Miami Metrics Club, which is Miami's chapter of the American Statistical Association. That's getting started again this semester. It's basically what I'm sure Dr. Bailey, you can talk about in a bit. What he does with his podcast, where it's merging data and mathematics and statistics and journalism in terms of taking a data set, doing some analysis with it, and then explaining that data, explaining those conclusions to the general public. But yeah, overall, there's a wide range of things: academic, professional. There's even, I think, a movie club on campus. So whatever fits your fancy, you'll find it at Miami University.
Yeah, and I would just add, in terms of the skills that you're developing as a math and stats major here at Miami, I think more than anything else, I've learned a lot of knowledge about math and stats, like abstract algebra, analysis, regression modeling. But I think just like in terms of the raw skill set, the one that really gets hammered home as a math and stats major is problem solving. My first semester here, I took a combined class in linear algebra and proofwriting. And the professor's approach to it was a lot of the learning was independent, and every day we would come to class with a set of proofs, and most of the actual class time would be spent critiquing our proofs and figuring out how we could improve in our logical skills and our mathematical skills. And at the time, it was really hard to be doing a lot of that independent learning. But looking back, I can see, how that made me such a good problem solver, and really develop my skills in being able to look at concepts and information that was unfamiliar to me and be able to parse it and figure out how to really understand it. And I know in my job, I'm not going to be doing like abstract algebra problems on a daily basis, but that class is still really, really valuable, because that process of thinking through proofs and figuring out why things are true is just so important in developing you as a problem solver. So I think going back to the larger point that others have made about how a degree in math and stats really sets you up well for whatever field you want to go into, I think that skill you develop as a problem solver really sets you up well for the future, regardless of what path you end up deciding on.
And I'm gonna agree, even outside of the Department of Math and Stats, there are so many opportunities. I'm in a couple clubs that are completely unrelated to my major and just things that I'm interested in that I think in the future I could definitely have a leadership position in. And I'm also right now serving as a Bridges mentor for students in the Bridges program. So that's just another example of a leadership opportunity that is, even though it's not directly related to math and stats, it's really going to look great on a resume, and it's teaching me the skills about how to be a leader and work with people who are pretty much my peers, and how to go forward with that knowledge that I've gained.
I'd also like to add that like with senior year, I've had a couple of job interviews, and a lot of the companies, they're asking me about my classes and what I've learned, but they're also asking me about like clubs that I'm in. Like I'm in a service fraternity right now, and I work with 4 Paws for Ability, training a service dog. And that's like, there's really good things to put on your resume with these clubs, because it makes them interested in you. And it's just one way to also like stick out when you're trying to find a job. And it helps you learn other soft skills like communication or like working in a team, and other examples of leadership as well.
So let me ask the students that are with us. So what's next for you? So for the students that are going to be finishing up this year, what are you going to be doing next year? And for those of you that are continuing at Miami, kind of what do you think you might be doing 5 years from now?
So I had that internship this past summer with Western and Southern as an actuarial analyst, and at the end of the summer, they invited me to come back full-time. I said actuarial analyst over the summer, actuarial intern over the summer. They invited me to come back as an actuarial analyst full-time. So I'm going to be doing that after graduation in February.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
My
Mike?
hope is in the spring, I'll start looking at schools, and hopefully next year I will be a full-time high school math teacher. So that process will kind of start in the spring and kind of see where I can end up somewhere.
Oh, that's great. Good luck.
I'm kind of on the same path as Jake into the actuarial analyst role. So I'm just job searching right now, going through the interview process.
Good luck.
I'm sort of graduating.
How do you sort of graduate, Lydia?
I am going to graduate, but I'm also in the combined program Lisa was mentioning. So I'm starting my master's in statistics this year. And so even though I'm going to graduate with my undergraduate degree in the spring, I have to stay one more year to finish that second degree, just because I came into the major a little late and decided to be in the combined program a little late. So yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not going anywhere, I guess, is what I'm saying.
So Zoe and Luke, what do you think? So 5 years from now, where do you see yourselves?
Well, 5 years from now, I see myself in a PhD program at an R1 university in some kind of applied math. It could be operations research, it could be biostatistics. And I'll either be doing it through a federal agency sponsored program as an employee, or I'll just be doing it on my own through a funded opportunity. And then after that, hopefully working for the government.
Great.
I really wish I wouldn't have let Luke go first, because now I have to say that I have absolutely no clue.
Oh, you know what? I love that answer. That's a great answer, Zoe. Don't feel bad about that. That's a wonderful answer. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going to be 5 years from now either, Zoe.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years from now either.
I mean, I think I'm going to be right here because I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm not just sucking up to my boss and saying that. Like, I truly like students and what I do. A lot of us faculty wouldn't be here if we didn't like our jobs. So,
and I'm honestly not too worried about having to say that because of the major I've picked, that I haven't even picked my concentration yet. And I still have tons of time to decide on that. And I know I'm going to have a lot of opportunities just with the major because of the skills it's giving me.
All right. So we're down to about 4 minutes, Carol. So I'll let my colleagues, my math and stat colleagues, any final words of wisdom that you would share with our prospective students?
Well, I just want to make sure that if they have any questions, that they get them in here real fast before.
I've been looking at chat, dude.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking, they might not be hesitant to ask.
Well, they're usually sleeping in my class when I'm talking. So that's part of the risks.
No, these are good students.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And they've got good search skills. They can track us down. We've each got email addresses.
Yeah, and do you have an entity account, Patty? Do you guys have
Yes.
an entity account?
Yes, it's mathematics at miamioh.edu, and statistics is statistics at miamioh.edu. Just
Go
send an
figure.
email there. So yeah, we will answer your questions. Maybe not to the specific nature of your question, but we'll get you as much information as possible.
Yeah, please do email us if you have follow-up questions. We enjoy where we are, and we very much value the students that we work with, and at least from this completely biased sample of students that you get a chance to see kind of the exchange that we would have. And we think this is a good place to be and a good place to study mathematics and statistics. And we hope we'll see you on campus, provided we ever get back to campus. No, we will get back to campus.
yeah, I would just say I'm excited for you that you're interested in math and statistics, and just for college. College is so fun. Like, I look at the students and I have fond memories of time in college, and I'm excited for you and what your future holds. And please ask us questions. We do like to meet you. That's fun.
And by the way, for all the attendees that are saying thank you, you're most welcome. It's a pleasure for us. I mean, we wouldn't be here if there weren't for students like you and for students like this on the panel. And we especially want to thank our students that took time out of their schedules instead of studying for their classes to join us for this panel. So thanks a lot.
Thank you. You guys did a great job. We'll pay you later.
Yeah, see Dr. Fisher.
I
He's
was gonna say, what about me? What about me? No one thanks me.
Tom, I am thankful for you every time, every day. Every day I just am grateful. All right. So Carol, is there any words of wisdom that you want to leave our attendees with? If you're unmuted, you could leave them with more words.
Okay, let's unmute here. I noticed that several of the students look like they are on campus. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you've done for the university, and tonight just connecting with our high school students that are really in this search. What an unusual year for their high school search to really have to connect with you personally in such a way. And I just want to say thank you, because you really did make it very personal. And I know they are looking for that real connection, and you did a great job. So thank you. All right.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, y'all have a good evening.
Have a great evening.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Have a good
everybody.
one.
Good one.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.